Well, E3 has come and gone, and we all got a chance to see the upcoming games each studio and publisher had to show us. Some are good, some are bad, some are okay but had very negative reactions. And I'm here to give up my top 15 favorites as well as the ones I'm most interested in. Now, if what you're expecting doesn't make on this list, it doesn't mean I hate it, it just didn't either grab my attention, or I just didn't have that much to say about it. I'm Leocrit, and these are my top 15 favorite games of E3 2019. Number 15. Watch Dogs Legion. Like I said in the past, I'm not much of a Ubisoft person, but a friend of mine told me to just watch the first 30 minutes of it and give my thoughts on it. I figured it was just gonna be a Watch Dogs game set in London, but they did show us some new gameplay mechanics that surprised me, like the permadeath system, and what events might change if certain characters are either alive or dead, as well as the recruitment system, and what character you pick is better at certain things, like one is either better at combat or one's better at hacking. But let's be honest, the one that stole the show, as well as the whole press conference, was the old lady. Seriously, this grandma's complete badass. In fact, Ubisoft, you could just end the whole press conference right there. Watch Dogs Golden Girls for the win! Number 14. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Everyone's saying that this game is Star Wars meets Uncharted, but I kinda see it as a return to the Kyle Katarn series. The story is supposed to take place in between episode 3 and 4, as it's supposed to be canon to the Star Wars series, so it was Force Unleashed, but everyone forgot about that game. The gameplay shows you playing as a Jedi, as you show up on Kashyyyk to help the rebels free the Wookiees from being enslaved by the Empire. You also have a droid named BB-1 helping you out, by unlocking doors and giving you a stem pack where you need it. We did get to see not only some lightsaber moves, but some force moves you can pull off. And by the way, who could not laugh at this? They did show off a new force move which is slow, and there are some pretty creative stuff you can do with it. I do like they show in the gameplay that some force moves don't work on all enemies. Like with these Dark Trooper guys, if you try to force pull them, they'll use that to their advantage and attack you. Although I think they used that example a few too many times. As for the graphics, they're okay. I'm not much of a graphics person. Although the Wookiees could have been better. I was also hoping there would be a dark side option, but the developers told us that it's going to be 100% light side. I also was disappointed that you can't customize your lightsaber. I also don't want to get my hopes too high, cause this is EA we're talking about, and they did screw up pretty badly on the Battlefront games. But if this game managed to blow everyone's expectations away, I may consider picking this one up. Number 13. The Outer Worlds. A sci-fi first-person shooter that, even though it takes place in the far future, everything looks like the mid-20th century. They didn't show that much gameplay, but from the gist of it, I can tell it's going to be very Fallout-like, as you'll have to make decisions, and depending on what you do, it'll either be good or bad, as well as there will be a bunch of guns and loot to find to play around with. They also showed off some of the companions and their strengths, like one of them is proficient in Gatling guns, and the other is proficient at running straight into a shootout. As for weapons, you have your sniper rifles and machine guns, but you also have things that fit into a sci-fi world like this, just as a gun that can make people weightless, thus making them float around in the air, and a shrink ray, which by the way, that doesn't need an explanation. I mean, you're already going to enjoy that. By the way, this is an update, but I just found out the people working on this game worked on Fallout New Vegas, so maybe this will be a good replacement for the Fallout series, and hopefully will not go into a downward spiral like Bethesda did. Number 12. Fire Emblem 3 Houses. While I'm not that big into Fire Emblem, I did play Fates and I do like the whole which path you choose concept when it comes to video games. Well, Nintendo seems to be doing it again, but this time you have 3 sides to choose from. And unlike Fates where you had to either order one or the other, or wait for revelations to come out, 3 houses come all together and you can pick which side you want when you reach that point in the game. As for gameplay and level progression, I do like the professor and the school system mechanics, along with having something similar to what the Persona series have, and that would be having relationships with your students. You can help them level up faster, as well as pick which class is best for them, along with additional skills they get for that class. But when talking about student and teacher, it's more like a mentor relationship, not a loving relationship, because that would be creepy. Alright, next one. Number 11. Grif Lands. A card-based RPG that reminds me of Slay the Spire. In fact, that's the only thing I can't connect this to, because that's the only card-based RPG I ever played. And I do like the different approaches that you can do, like you want to recruit people, get some information, or just straight out attack people. And I do like the different card sets they have for whatever's going on. Like there's a card set for persuasion, and there's a card set for your character when it comes to attacking. I just wonder for each character that you recruit, they have their own set of themed cards as well. And that's all I got for this one. Just a neat looking card-based RPG. Nothing more. Number 10. Carry On. A reverse horror game where you play as a monster, as your goal is to consume everything around you and escape this government lab. It's a Metroidvania style game, as there'll be some upgrades that you need to get in order to get through other areas in this lab. And there are some parts where you can't go all blood hungry, where you have to be a little bit stealthy and less more of a predator. Now reverse horror games have been done before, but they didn't play that much into the horror aspect, and some that were mostly player versus player games. The number one thing I like about this game is how Carry-On moves. I mean the way the tentacles move and shoot out all over the place. The animators did a damn good job with this. They're probably not gonna have the spine removal thing they had in their earlier demo, but it still looks like gory fun. I only expect the ending will be like Deadly Spawn, where you grow to a size of a mountain and cause even more carnage. Actually, the more I think about it, these two are kinda similar. Unless this game's actually the Deadly Spawn sequel we all been waiting for. Is it? Number 9. The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening Remake. I love the new graphics, everyone looks adorable, and the 2.5D look makes everything pop out, both outside in the main world and inside every house you visit. But what I like the most about this one is that you get to design a dungeon. Kinda like a Zelda Dungeon Maker, scratch that, exactly like a Zelda Dungeon Maker. By the way, Nintendo, that doesn't sound like a bad idea. But besides that, the gameplay looks nice and the music sounds great. Once again, Nintendo, Zelda Dungeon Maker. You know, customizing your own dungeons with different Zelda themes, sending them online. Just think about it. Think about it. Call me. We'll talk. Number 8. Midnight Ghost Hunt. Pretty much a Ghostbusters version of Prop Hunt. In fact, that's even what the developer says. But unlike that game, in this one, the people hiding can fight back, just as throwing objects at the ghost hunters. Also, when the clock reaches midnight, the ghosts become even more hostile, and it's up to the ghost hunters to try to survive until backup comes. That's actually pretty cool, switching the tables like that. If I do have one complaint, is that why would a ghost hunting team will come 5 minutes before midnight? Wouldn't they want to start earlier? Now I do know if that the developers did that, it wouldn't be fair to the people playing as the ghosts. Actually, the more I think about it, could the developers do something like that? Like have the people as the ghosts set the time for how long they could survive until midnight? Something they can add even more of a challenge to? I'm just spitballing. Number 7. Valferis. Guessing what would happen if Doom and Contra had a baby, and this is what it turned out. I think the trailer speaks for itself. Number 6. Astral Chain. A 3D hack and slash made by Platinum Games, where you take control of an extra-dimensional police officer, as your goal is to hunt down interdimensional aliens with your allies known as Legions, as you get these Legions by capturing them. So it's kinda like Men in Black meets Pokemon. So far, the combat does look fun, but the highlight was of course the Legions and how they play into the game, as you can use them in battle, and some have different moves from one another, just as the Arms Legion that's more like equipment for your character, and the Sword Legion who has a Blade mode, which does remind me of Metal Gear Rising Revengeance. Also, the co-op attacks you get to do with your Legions look actually pretty fun to use. And it wouldn't be a Platinum Games game if there wasn't a reward for dodging. As for this one, that you dodge at the right time, you get to do a follow-up attack with your Legion. I just wonder if there's gonna be DLC that you have Bayonetta as a Legion. What? Number 5. Well, I do like Carry-On and Fall Guys was pretty funny, but the one that won for me is an old genre of gaming that I always love when it comes to any arcade that I visit. That's right, I'm talking about House of the Gundead. A top-down pixel shoot-em-up turned into an arcade pixel shoot-em-up. And it's awesome that Devolver is making this, and what I hope to see in my local Dave & Buster's. But just a heads up, Devolver, I love what you guys are doing, but you wanna know what make fans love you even more? Typing of the Gundead. Just think about it. Think about it. Number 4. Doom Eternal. Bethesda's press conference was actually pretty terrible, but the one that was best out of the whole press conference was Doom Eternal. They showed off new levels, demons, weapons, as well as upgrades for your armor and equipment, and everyone's favorite, the executions. They also have a demonic corruption bar, and I wonder how that's gonna play out into the game. Like it's gonna be similar to the Berserk status, or it's gonna be something a little bit more than that. They also talked about invasion mode, which players can invade other people's campaigns and fight them as the demons. And who can forget about the shotgun with the grappling hook? Seriously, I can never get tired of that. Number 3. Luigis Mansion 3. I played the second one, and I wasn't really that hooked into it. But after seeing the trailer and the gameplay, I do see a lot of improvements for this one. such as the suction shot, not only being able to use on enemies, but also the environment to reveal secrets, and a slam move to cause even more damage to ghosts. Also, there is Luigi, a slime version of Luigi that can get through hazards and other areas that Luigi can't get to. He also can be used for co-op play, and I think that could be pretty fun. The hotel concept is pretty weird, but I do like that it is one place again, and they do have different themed levels for what floor you're at, which I think was a good decision that Nintendo made. Even though it's a hotel, and I think it should have been called Hotel Luigi. Actually, just stick with Luigi's Mansion 3. I just hope it doesn't have the mission structure or the 3-star rating system like the last one did, cause I wasn't a fan of that. Oh, and by the way, the movie theater level was freaking amazing. Number 2. I have to say, Square Enix press conference this year was actually pretty damn good. But if I had to pick one from the other, it would have to be the Final Fantasy VIII Remastered. Nah, I'm just joking, but I am glad that Square Enix is finally doing that. Of course, it is the Final Fantasy VII Remake. This year we got to see more gameplay footage with Cloud and Barret, as well as little bits of Tifa and Aerith, as they showed off that you can switch freely with whatever characters in your party, like Barret can attack enemies at some places that Cloud can't. They also showed off tactical mode, letting everything slow down so you can pick which one you want to do next, and the ATB part for magic and limit breaks. I also heard there's apparently enough content for 2 Blu-ray discs, hinting that maybe there might only be 2 episodes in total? Maybe? Maybe. Before I get to number 1, here are some honorable mentions. The Smash Bros. Dragon Quest and Banjo-Kazooie DLC. This almost made it on the list, but I figured this was more DLC, and I thought it would have been cheating since I wanted more focus on the games. Halo Infinite. While it does look good, they didn't show much gameplay footage, which didn't get me excited or interested in it. In the end, I just wanted something more out of this one. Marvel Avengers and Ultimate Alliance 3. So far they're alright games, but I didn't know which one to get more excited for. Yes, there was more gameplay footage for Ultimate Alliance 3, but I didn't see anything new or different than what the other games had. Now it's been a while since there was an Ultimate Alliance game, but I'm not seeing anything that would grab my attention. However, the Deadpool scenes are funny. The Dragon Quest entries. Now I have played some of the Dragon Quest games, and I even talked about Dragon Quest Builders 2 in my PAX video, but Final Fantasy grabbed more of my attention than what Dragon Quest had to offer, so sorry, no hard feelings. Phantasy Star Online 2. While I am glad we're finally getting this game to the States, Microsoft never gave us a reason why we should be excited for this. I mean, come on, fans have been waiting for this game for 7 years for an English release, and some might either modded or hacked it to make an English patch for it. Number 1. Cyberpunk 2077. This was pretty much my favorite game, not only shown at the Microsoft press conference, as well as all of E3, and it's not just because of Keanu Reeves. Okay, it is, but there's more to this game than that. You create your character something similar to Mass Effect, as you can not only pick what class you want, but also your background, as it'll affect some parts of the story, as well as dialogue options. I also wonder if there will be specific missions that connect to your past as a nomad or a street kid. Besides the character creation, there are also some weapons and skills that I liked, like the ricochet bullets, as well as hacking guns. They also showed us some pretty cool weapons, such as a smart machine gun, that awesome double barrel shotgun, and the arm blades. I mean, seriously, that's just freaking sick. But what I liked more about this game was the setting and story. I love this not too distant future where everything's advanced, but it's not the best looking future. Something that could be almost similar to Blade Runner or Ghost in the Shell. I know this isn't the final gameplay, but what I see in here, this one I am more excited for than anything else, and what is my number 1 favorite game of E3 2019. And since you guys have been so patient...
Cyberpunk 2077. Cyberpunk 2077. You're breathtaking. You're all breathtaking.
I'm Leo Crit, and I'll see you next time.